Beatles, It Won't Be Long. From Help, You're Gonna Lose That Girl. A Hard Day's Night with words from John Lennon. Don't Bother Me from Meet the Beatles, a comment from George Harrison. And Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Sears Roebuck and Company is proud to be presenting this 5-hour survey of the group that became a legend even before it disbanded. And in conjunction with this show, Sears Record Department is proud to announce special savings on most of all the Beatles albums. That's right, almost every Beatles album ever made at special prices, along with a specially selected group of albums done by John, Paul, and George, after each took his own path. In all, Sears has stocked 19 Beatles albums, from Meet the Beatles to Let It Be, plus 3 McCartneys, 2 Lennons, and 2 Harrisons. It's your opportunity to stock up and fill out your collection. Prices range from $344 and $464 for single record albums to $788 for 2 and 3 record sets, to $1188 for Bangladesh. Special savings on 8-track tapes as well, now during Sears Beatles 72 event at Sears Record Department, so don't miss it. Beatles 72 continues. Beatles from Revolver, Yellow Submarine. George Harrison and Friends, Bangladesh, with a comment from George. And the Beatles, I Should Have Known Better, from Hey Jude. When Ravi Shankar approached George Harrison to tell him of the plight of the Bengali people, George responded. Here are the words of Ravi Shankar. Things started moving very fast then. George called Ringo in Spain, and he talked to Leon Russell and all those other wonderful musicians from the West Coast. And, of course, Bob Dylan was so wonderful to take part in the cause. And so on August 1st, 1971, perhaps the most historic concert in pop music history took place in Madison Square Garden. The concert for Bangladesh. The stream of superstars doing inspired performances seemed endless. Ravi Shankar, Ali Akbar Khan, George Harrison, Billy Preston, Ringo Starr, Eric Clapton, Leon Russell, Bob Dylan, Badfinger, Klaus Voormann, and many, many others. Sears Record Department invites you to recapture and hold this historic document, this historic experience now during the Sears Beatles 72 celebration. The Concert for Bangladesh album, 4 records and a full-color photo brochure, handsomely boxed. It's now available for $1188 at Sears. 8-track tapes also available. I'm Tom Hogan on Beatles 72.
WDVE Pittsburgh is presenting Beatles 72. 5 hours of Beatles from the beginning.
Well, how come you say you will when you won't? Say you do, baby, when you don't. Turning me round, little piggies. Penny Lane, there is a barber showing photographs. I ain't got nothing money left.
WDVE is giving away 2 complete Beatle libraries. Each library contains 13 Beatle albums. To enter the Beatles 72 drawing, send a postcard to Beatles 72, WDVE 411 7th Avenue, Pittsburgh 15219. Winners will be chosen by random drawing. All postcards must be postmarked no later than midnight tomorrow night, June 26th. Don't forget to include your name and address and send as many cards as you want. We're WDVE, Pittsburgh.
Beatles 72 continues. Beatles Help. From Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, She's Leaving Home, the double white album Obladi Oblada. From Revolver, Love You Too, with a comment from George Harrison. And the Hey Jude collection, we heard Revolution. The Beatles have made some real knockout films, and each film has produced a knockout record album as well. Right now, during Sears Beatles 72 sales event, Sears Record Department has all 4 of the Beatle film albums available at sale prices. Their first film, A Hard Day's Night, directed by Richard Lester, let the world glimpse the real personalities of the Beatles and the raw genius of their early work. The second, Help, a fast, frantic romp that featured Ticket to Ride and You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. The third, the avant-garde animated classic, Yellow Submarine. And finally, their farewell film, Let It Be, with the warmth and freshness of actual film track sound. Each of these motion picture soundtrack albums is now available at Sears Record Department. The first 3, just $344. Let It Be for only $466, with special prices on 8-track tapes as well. Now during Sears Beatles 72 event. Beatles 72 continues with the Beatles yesterday and today. Beatles from yesterday and today, Nowhere Man. From Revolver, Here, There, and Everywhere. From the Magical Mystery Tour collection, I Am the Walrus, and we heard Day Tripper. We've been talking about all the great Beatles albums Sears is on sale, right? During the Beatles 72 celebration. But we don't want you to think of Sears Record Department as simply your headquarters for Beatles albums or even just pop albums, because Sears Record Department also offers a huge selection of every sort of music you can think of, country, soul, and folk, along with any other type of album you can think of as well. So while you're down picking up albums like Rubber Soul, Revolver, Yesterday and Today, or any other of the Beatles albums you're missing, be sure to take a good look at the rest of the Sears Record Department. You'll be impressed with the selection, the savings, the ease of shopping, and the convenience of getting your purchase on your Sears revolving charge. Oh, and by the way, the Beatle albums I mentioned, Rubber Soul, Revolver, and Yesterday and Today, they're on special sale price now during the Beatles 72 celebration, just $3.44 each. That's right, $3.44 each. And they're available on 8-track tapes as well. I'm Tom Hogan on Beatles 72. The Beatles' Happiness is a Warm Gun. For Magical Mystery Tour, Fool on the Hill, Lovely Rita from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, The Long and Winding Road from Let It Be, and Can't Buy Me Love from Hey Jude with words from John Lennon. Great expectations surrounded the only 2-record album the Beatles ever made. Great surprise followed its release. The mocking simplicity of the cover startled just about everybody. There it was, pure white, with only the words The Beatles embossed on the cover. Bare, stark, and lonely. As camouflage as a polar bear in a snowbank. The content of the album, though, met everyone's expectations. 30 songs in all, including Obla Di Obla Da, Happiness is a Warm Gun, Helter Skelter, Savoy Truffle, and Revolution. During the Sears Beatles 72 celebration, Sears offers this unique 2-record set at a special low price that includes a huge collage poster, plus separate 4 color glossy photos of John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Sears priced at just $7.88. That's $7.88 for the album The Beatles, called The Beatles. Get it now at the Sears Record Department. Also available on 8-track tapes. Beatles 72 continues.
Road.
Beatles from the Double White album, Why Don't We Do It in the Road? From Revolver, Eleanor Rigby. Magical Mystery Tour, we heard Baby You're a Rich Man. George Harrison at the Bangladesh concert, Wah Wah. And the early Beatles from Meet the Beatles, I Want to Hold Your Hand. Here's a little Beatles quiz from Sears Record Department. What albums are the following songs from? And I Love Her. No Reply. How about Ticket to Ride? What You Doing? Maybe Norwegian Wood. Here, There, and Everywhere. We Can Work It Out. Well, ready for the answers? And I Love Her is from Something New. No Reply from Beatles 65. Ticket to Ride came from Help. What You're Doing, Beatles 6th. And Norwegian Wood from Rubber Soul. Here, There, and Everywhere from Revolver. And finally, We Can Work It Out, the Beatles Yesterday and Today collection. How'd you score? One thing's sure, you'll score on all these Beatle albums at Sears Record Department, because now during Sears Beatles 72 celebration, each one is on sale for just $3.44 each. All available on 8-track tapes as well. So score today. I'm Tom Hogan on Beatles 72. Beatles from Magical Mystery Tour, All You Need Is Love. From Revolver, Gotta Get You Into My Life, from the Beatles' Yesterday and Today collection, We Can Work It Out, with a comment from John Lennon. Back in the USSR, from the Double White album, and Love Me Do, with a comment from George Harrison. Probably one of the most difficult questions anybody could try to answer is, which Beatles album was the best? One thing for sure, though, Abbey Road would be up there in the voting, and Abbey Road is just one of the long list of Beatles albums Sears Record Department has put on special sale now during Sears Beatles 72 celebration. So many great songs came out of Abbey Road, it's hard to believe. Songs like Come Together, Something, Here Comes the Sun, Maxwell's Silver Hammer, I Want You, She's So Heavy, Because You Never Give Me Your Money, Oh Darling, and Octopus's Garden, and still lots of others. No Beatles record collection should be without this astounding album, and Sears is making it easy for you to buy during the Beatles 72 celebration. Abbey Road for just $4.66 now at Sears Record Department. And you can charge it on your Sears revolving charge. Sale prices on 8-track tapes, too. Beatles 72 continues. George Harrison from All Things Must Pass, Beware of Darkness. From the Magical Mystery Tour album, Hello Goodbye. The Double White album, we heard Rocky Raccoon. Some early Beatles, Twist and Shout, with a comment from George Harrison. And the Beatles, I'll Cry Instead, from Something New. George Harrison, a man who brought back musical ideas from the East. Beatles, Lady Madonna from Hey Jude. You've Got to Hide Your Love Away from Help. Magical Mystery Tour with words from John Lennon, Bungalow Bill from the Double White album, and She Loves You from the second Beatles album, words from George Harrison. During Sears' Beatles 72 celebration, Sears Record Department is putting on sale Beatles albums and albums John, Paul, and George have recorded individually. Albums like Ram and Wildlife by McCartney, Imagine and Plastic Ono Band by Lennon, Magical Mystery Tour, Hey Jude, the Beatles' Sixth. Now the list goes on, and they're all waiting for you at the Sears Record Department. So fill in everything that's missing from your Beatles collection, and if you happen to be a little short of bread right now, don't worry about it. Just say charge it with your Sears revolving charge. You'll be taking advantage of big savings. How big? Well, every album I've named in this message so far is just priced at $344. That's right, just $344 each during Sears Beatles 72 celebration. And it's on right now at Sears Record Department. Beatles albums also available on 8-track tapes as well. Beatles 72 continues. Paul McCartney from Ram, Dear Boy. Octopus's Garden from Abbey Road. George Harrison from All Things Must Pass, Hear Me Lord. A comment from George. In My Life from Rubber Soul with words from John Lennon. And from 1965, The Beatles, I Feel Fine. You know, during Sears Beatles 72 celebration, Sears Record Department has not only put all the Beatles albums on sale, but a select group of albums the members of the Beatles recorded separately on sale. Example, first, Paul McCartney's biggest album to date, Ram, featuring Heart of the Country, Ram On, The Backseat of My Car, Too Many People, and others. Next, John Lennon's Imagine, featuring the haunting title song, Imagine. Also, How Do You Sleep, Oh Yoko, plus a giant poster of John at his white piano. And finally, George Harrison's Box 3 record set, All Things Must Pass, plus an enormous color poster of George. Now during Sears Beatles 72 celebration, all three are specially priced. Paul McCartney's Ram and John Lennon's Imagine at just $344, and George Harrison's All Things Must Pass, a 3-record set, at just $788. Each album available on 8-track tapes as well. I'm Tom Hogan on Beatles 72.
WDVE Pittsburgh is presenting Beatles 72. 5 hours of Beatles from the beginning.
Well, how come you say you will when you won't? Say you do, baby. H-I-J, I know. Turning me round. Real little piggies. Any lane there is a barber showing photographs. I ain't got nothing money left.
WDVE is giving away 2 complete Beatle libraries. Each library contains 13 Beatle albums. To enter the Beatles 72 drawing, send a postcard to Beatles 72, WDVE 411 7th Avenue, Pittsburgh 15219. Winners will be chosen by random drawing. All postcards must be postmarked no later than midnight tomorrow night, June 26th. Don't forget to include your name and address and send as many cards as you want. We're WDVE, Pittsburgh.
Sears Record and Tape Department brings you Beatles 72. Beatles from the Double White album, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. All I've Got to Do from Meet the Beatles, Norwegian Wood from Rubber Soul, a comment from George Harrison. When I'm 64 from Sgt. Pepper, and Rain from the Hey Jude collection. Here's another Sears Beatles quiz. Which albums are the following songs from? Can't Buy Me Love. All My Loving. Thank You Girl. Paperback Writer. All You Need Is Love. Fool on the Hill. A Little Help from My Friends. Ready for the answers? Can't Buy Me Love is from A Hard Day's Night. All My Loving from Meet the Beatles. Thank You Girl, the Beatles' second album. Paperback Writer was from Hey Jude. All You Need Is Love from Yellow Submarine. Fool on the Hill, the Magical Mystery Tour album. And A Little Help from My Friends from Sgt. Pepper. How'd you score? Well, one thing's sure, you'll score big in the savings department when you shop for these albums at Sears Record Department, now during Sears Beatles 72 celebration, because each one is selling for just $344 each. And Sears has them on 8-track tapes, too. So come on in and score big. Beatles 72 continues.
Paper.
From Beatles 6th, 8 Days a Week, A Day in the Life from Sgt. Pepper, Instant Karma by John Lennon, a comment from John on A Day in the Life, and Paperback Writer from Hey Jude. John Lennon, in some ways a simple man of humor and love, in other ways a complex man of cynicism and anger, a man who writes what he feels and whose poetry many think is unexcelled among contemporary lyricists. During Sears' Beatles 72 event, Sears Record Department is featuring what are perhaps John's two finest albums at specially reduced prices. First, John Lennon's biggest album to date, highlighted by his monumental title song Imagine and Oh Yoko, and John's searing put-down song How Do You Sleep. The second album, The Plastic Ono Band, an outpouring of emotion, in which John strips naked his feelings about love, childhood, and the world. Two brilliant John Lennon albums, Imagine and Plastic Ono Band, now specially sale-priced at Sears Record Department at just $3.44 each. 8-track tapes specially priced as well. Get them now during Sears' Beatles 72 event. I'm Tom Hogan on Beatles 72. Beatles from Magical Mystery Tour, Penny Lane. And I Love Her from Something New, Rock and Roll Music, the Beatles back in 1965. A comment from George Harrison. A comment from John Lennon and God from the Plastic Ono Band album, and I'm a Loser by the Beatles. I imagine that most of you have a Beatles album collection, and I'd imagine that most of them aren't totally complete, right? Well, here's your chance now to fill out your collection and save some money during the Beatles 72 celebration at Sears Record Department. Here's a list of the albums available. First, single record albums. Ram, Wildlife, McCartney by Paul, Imagine and Plastic Ono Band by John. Now for the Beatles albums, Abbey Road, Sgt. Pepper, Magical Mystery Tour, Hey Jude, Let It Be, Rubber Soul, Revolver, Hard Day's Night, Meet the Beatles, Help, Yesterday and Today, The Early Beatles, the Beatles' second album, Something New, Beatles 65, Beatles 6, Yellow Submarine, plus the Beatles story. The 2-record set, The Beatles, that's the all-white album, and George's 3-LP album, All Things Must Pass. Now the prices. Single record albums, just $3.44 and $4.66. 2 and 3 record sets, $7.88, plus the Bangladesh album at $11.88. How many are you missing? Well, you can fill up now at Sears Record Department, okay? Beatles 72 continues with John Lennon. Beatles from the double white album, Martha, My Dear. From early Beatles, P.S. I Love You, All My Loving from Meet the Beatles, and Ticket to Ride from Help. Before that, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds from Sgt. Pepper, comment from John Lennon. The people at Sears Record Department are proud to bring you this Beatles 72 special. We hope you enjoy it. Because we know most of you are avid Beatles aficionados and collectors, we've stacked the department with a galaxy of super Beatles albums, along with the select group of albums Beatles members have recorded individually. It's all there, from the Beatles' first album, Meet the Beatles, to Rubber Soul, the Magical Mystery Tour, to Abbey Road, to Let It Be. The whole range and progression of the Beatles' art is yours, along with great solo albums like Ram, Imagine, and All Things Must Pass. We hope you'll stop into Sears and round out your collection, and we're offering special prices to help make your purchases a little easier. Price range, $3.44 and $4.66 for single albums, $7.88 for double and triple albums, and $11.88 for Bangladesh. We hope you'll come in. Sears, Roebuck & Company have been happy to bring you Beatles 72. I'm Tom Hogan. Hope you enjoyed it.
WDVE Pittsburgh has presented Beatles 72. Comments on the program will be appreciated. And if you'd like WDVE to do a special on your favorite group, please let us know. Our address is 411 7th Avenue, Pittsburgh, 15219. That's WDVE, 411 7th Avenue, Pittsburgh, PA, 15219. Hi, I'm Kevin with Jimi Hendrix.